Okay, I can honestly say that logically speaking, I don't see how it's possible he doesn't. I mean, seriously, I mean, given the wreck that our society is, I will have a very low view of the American society if, in fact, he doesn't win given this situation. I will say right now he's ahead in 6 out of 7 swing states significantly. He is, so the other one is tied, the 7th swing state. He's ahead 8 points in the I just saw one this morning, ahead 8 points nationally. And let me tell you why that's mattered. Trump has never been ahead ever in his political career, even when he beat Hillary. Remember, Hillary was ahead by 3 percentage points in the overall, but not in the electoral college. So he has never, ever been ahead, and so you have to look at that and go, wow, that's something. He's doing very, very well right now. It's freaking the Democrats out in the area of black males. He's doing very, very well in the Hispanic community. I just saw one thing. He's actually ahead in the Hispanic community. That threw people, like crazy. And he's also doing very young in the young demographic. Now, you have to understand that the Democrats can't have any of that take place. The other problem that is going on right now is the whole thing with Hamas and Israel. The Democrats are having a horrible moment now because they can't decide where they stand. And so everybody's mad. The Arabs are mad, and the Jews are mad, and specifically in Dearborn, Michigan, that's really problematic because they need that to be able to win. And if he doesn't win, if Biden doesn't win Michigan, there's not really a good route for him to win the nation. So can he? Certainly he can. I mean, I believe it's kind of his to lose. The other thing I want you to think about, guys, we can back up a little bit. I don't know how much you've looked into 2020 and what actually took place there and all the things that happened with the ballots that were put in that shouldn't have been put in. There was no chain of custody, and it happened all over our nation, and it specifically happened in those swing states. It was used, COVID, if you remember, was used to be able to change all the rules at the very end. Now, I want to take all this in to change the rules at the very end. Secondly, if you remember, Biden was presented as the great unifier and the guy that could return things to normal. So you had those two things. Please understand that election was won by 21,000 votes in 2 states. Of the millions and millions of votes cast, 21,000 votes in 2 states. So with everything that was there, now what's changed? Well, what's changed is we actually have been fixing some of the places where there was irregularities, where there was cheating that took place. And so much of that is being worked on even as we speak right now. So I'm very thankful for that. I've been praying, get everybody in their lane to do what they need to do. So that gives me hope. The second thing is that no one looks at Joe Biden now as making things normal. Everything is abnormal. Everything's crazy. I mean, we're looking at 8 to 10 million people by the time he's done that we know of. All right? That doesn't count the gotaways of illegal immigrants coming into our country. And I actually talk about that in my new book. It was in a clip that I did for social media. Guys, you have to realize that there are only 10 states out of 50 that have over 10 million people in it. So he actually has let in more than 40 states of population just in the 4 years that are here. And guys, the problems we've seen and the issues that are going, it's just been horrific. And so things have changed. It's not good old Joe. It's not Uncle Joe. It's not Grandpa Joe anymore. And so the perspective has changed dramatically. And at least at this point, the last survey that I saw said that at this time, 10% of Democrats who did vote for him before are planning on not voting for him. Now, guys, please understand this. They don't have to vote for Trump. If they just don't vote for him, then the end result is it's over. Now, having said all that, please understand, guys, Donald Trump is not the answer to all of our problems. A return to biblical principles is. And for whatever reason, the principles, or at least the policies that he put in place, very clearly fit biblical principles. And if you remember, the first 3 years before COVID hit, things were really, really going well. We right now have to spend 40% more on groceries. And I don't have to tell you that. You go to the grocery store, and it's horrifying what's happening. I did, I think for social media, we spend each family spends $1,000 more per month to have the exact same living standard that they did in 2019. They cost you $1,000 more per month because of that. Now, here's the thing I trust, at least in part. I trust in people's selfishness. Isn't that a good thing for a pastor to believe in? You know, I believe in that. Guys, by and large, I don't know if you know who James Carville is, but back during time with Bill Clinton, he said something that everybody kind of glommed on. When everybody was talking about Clinton and all the bad stuff he did and Monica Lewinsky and all the things that were happening, he just looked right in the camera and he said, "It's the economy, stupid." The economy was doing good at the time. That was his statement. That's why he would win. If that's true, then the reality is we have the opportunity to be able to be successful. So guys, our hope is not in any one man. Our hope is to return to God's principles. And when we return to God's principles, it's shocking what can happen. And not only what can happen, but what can turn around quickly. I mean, you think about it, the day that he came into office, Joe Biden signed 40. He set a record. He signed, I think it was 40 executive demands that he put in place, and he undid everything that Trump had in place. Trump can turn right around and do that, and then we need to fix that. All right? That needs to stop happening because Congress is not doing their job. Their job is to set laws. That's their job, and instead they've left it to the administrative state. Just for the record, the administrative state. So this is going to be DOJ. This is going to be all the people that we didn't elect to be here. Those people who are unelected bureaucrats, they set the rules for us. Every time they show up with an omnibus, which is the idea that you have to pass this or we're going to shut down the government, have you ever noticed they usually have to roll it in our cart? It's so huge. Sometimes it's thousands of pages long, and our representatives don't even read it. And that's not hyperbole. Doesn't sound like Joe Biden. Anyway, I'm not joking, not hyperbole. The reality is they really don't read it. And the next thing you know, all these laws, and so we've got unelected bureaucrats setting our laws because Congress is not doing their job. Just for the record, my next book, you really need to read it. I know I said this last service, but all the answers to what we need to do are right there. Somebody, if you know Donald Trump, you need to get this book to him, okay? The answers are right there. Thankfully, you probably don't even know this, guys, but there's a guy named Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller, you should pray for Stephen Miller. I do. He's one of his number one guys that Trump listens to, and this guy gets it. He understands how to be able to do it well. So can he? He certainly can. Guys, we constantly need to, if you care about God's principles, I'm sorry, guys, whether you're Republican or Democrat, there's no question on this one. Because I get it, Republicans fail too. I totally get that. But the biblical principles, look at the platform. You have to look at what they believe in. Remember Democrats back in 2016, they took God out of their platform. They finally just did it. And you have to realize that if we want a country to be great, we first of all start by being the people of God. 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways and seek my face, then I will hear from heaven, I will forgive their sins, and I will heal their land. Guys, that's us, all locations. We're the key to making this thing work. And sometimes people will say, well, I just don't even see how we can ever turn this around. Guys, listen, God has always dealt with a remnant. He has always dealt with a remnant. And what we have to understand is we need to be so powerfully God's people that God has a desire to rescue America, to give us another opportunity. There's another thing, and I do want to talk about this a little bit. Guys, this may be a turning point whether we survive as a country for this reason. What you are experiencing right now is the 1960s. I need you to understand that back in the 1960s, and in my new book, I actually talk about this, the things that were written and done, this was all planned out. Everything that's happening to you right now has been planned out since the 1960s. A couple of different authors laid out, here's how, like for instance, a book called The Overthrowing of Straight America. That was actually a thing, and they've done it all, and they got it done. There are a variety, if you look at Saul Alinsky, this guy laid out how to be able to, the rules for radicals is what it's called. I mean, they laid out how to destroy America and how to wipe it out. Here's the thing. Think about the people that are leading us. If they're 80, that's the 60s. These are the people, make love, not war. These are the people that got rid of God. God is dead. All the stuff that happened there, guys, if we can just get past this moment, we have hope to be a great nation again. We do. I just wrote a song this week. This is not the time to lose hope. All right, so it's actually called Not the Time to Lose Hope. And so the reality is we have to be the people of God. We have to step up to be able to make this thing happen. And so the key is, can God's principles actually come to the foreground again? That's really what we're looking for, guys. look at those principles and make decisions on that. Can it? Sure. Do we need to pray like we are fourth quarter and down by 20 points? Yes, we do. Guys, we need to be praying and doing everything we can to make that difference. But it certainly can happen.